right. I got some noise in the background here. Today is yoga for stress. So grab lots of props. Grab anything that you like to have around for your comfort. Grab something to sit on. If you feel more comfortable when you're seated, sitting on a chair, you're welcome to grab a chair. We do not get up on our feet for this class. So mostly on the mat, on our backs, on our hands and knees, or seated. So if you need to take this seated with props, I like to use my cushions. Sometimes I'll put a block underneath. Find ways to be super comfortable. This class is about being comfortable, about finding ways to reduce stress, not increase it. So we're going to begin on our backs. So just start to land on your mat, bring your knees in, and just start to wiggle the hips, land on the mat, and then take your feet down, knees up. Take your feet a little bit wider than the hips. And find that comfortable position where your feet are not too close and not too far from the glutes. Your knees can rest in towards each other, and your low back can soften. Place your arms down on the ground. Allow them to be at whatever position makes your shoulders more comfortable. So play with that. Find the place where your shoulders can really rest into the ground. Maybe your arms need to be a little higher. Maybe they need to be closer to the hips. Palms up, palms down. Explore. See how your body is feeling. Especially today. Maybe the same position every time isn't right for you. Check it out. Have a little exploration, a little internal experience. And then just softly sway the chin, side to side, shoulder to shoulder. Just slowly exploring the neck, releasing the neck. Be mindful when you return your head to center that you're not forcing your neck down to the ground. Take your chin maybe a little more to the ceiling. See if you can get that soft curve, the natural curve of your neck to remain. And then if it's comfortable for you, close your eyes or just soften your focus. Start to be on your mat. Take in the parts of the body that are touching support. Feel your feet, feel your hips, your shoulders, the back of your skull. And begin to really rest into those places. So as you allow the shoulder blades to sink into the mat, soften the muscles of the chest and shoulders and the neck. As you allow the skull to soften into the mat, soften the muscles of the neck and the face, the jaw, and the chest and shoulders. As you allow the hips to land and soften into the mat, those mats supporting your hips. Allow all the muscles of the stomach, the thighs, the low back, the glutes, all to soften and loosen. And then just check in. Asking yourself the question, how am I doing? And just leaving space and compassion and kindness for the answer. Taking away judgment of what the answer should be or should not be, and just allowing whatever is present to be present. Giving space for our emotions to be emotions, just filters for our environment, information. Our thoughts to be just thoughts, also just filters for our environment. Our energetic level, notice what it's at. Notice your breath. Notice if you begin to focus on your breath, if you start to bring intention to the torso. We often have gripping when we focus on our breath, or we can have this sensation of, I must breathe nice and slow. I must force my breath with my muscles. So notice if that happens, and just kind of soften into the breath. Just watching it as if you could watch it like the waves of the ocean. Watch how it moves your body. Remembering that without control, it happens anyway. And then without bringing any tension into the physical body, trying to remain really, really, really soft, especially in the face. Focus on your shoulders and across the front of your shoulders and the top parts of your lungs. And as you're observing your breath, just imagine that you're filling up the very upper part of your chest and across your shoulders with your breath. And rather than thinking about forcing breath in, just start to imagine the breath of flow. So our breath comes in, it gets turned into all the things we need, and it gets sent throughout the body as energy. So imagine you could, with your mind, suggest where that energy needs to go right now. So right now we're going to suggest it goes right across the shoulders. So imagine you could breathe fresh energy directly into your shoulders. And your breath out is going to sweep away anything no longer needed across the shoulders. All across the upper chest and shoulders. And then as you start to get the idea or start to get the flow of just sending this fresh energy across the chest and shoulders, maybe you want to send it down the arms. Maybe you just want to focus on the shoulders. And if it helps, if you're a visual person, you can give your energy, your breath, a color, a temperature, or texture, just to help imagining this space filling up with fresh and sweeping away things no longer needed. And then gently shift your focus to your torso, so your rib cage space, your mid-torso. And we're going to draw in fresh breath, fresh energy across the mid-torso and softly sweep away things no longer needed. Drawing in fresh across the rib cage, sweeping away what we no longer need. Imagine you could gently send that in energy and that breath in between each rib. Gently making more space, letting go of any holding patterns around the side body. And then bring your focus across the lower torso and imagine sending your waves of fresh breath down across the front of the hips, all the way across the lower torso. And then sweeping away what is no longer needed with the exhale. Gentle waves of fresh breath. And then bring your waves of fresh breath all the way up the spine and to the face. So sending it upwards as if you could draw it up the spine and across the face. Drawing in fresh to all the muscles of the face. And then sweeping away whatever is no longer needed. Connect with the concept of each breath, making every muscle a little bit softer, a little bit lighter. And then with a little soft wiggle and adjustment, just notice how you feel. Soften away the focus of your breath and begin to just rock the hips side to side, the knees side to side, maybe the chin, just starting to feel, connect. Notice if you feel a little different than when we began. And then bringing your knees in towards your chest, maybe rocking the knees a little. Take the feet up towards the ceiling, not worrying about how strong or straight, just getting your feet above your heart. Noticing if you still have gardener in your toes. Wiggle your toes, start to feel your feet. Huh?
That's really gross.
I tried to wash them. It's from the tavern. When they were gardening at the tavern, I washed them, but I missed some parts. Wiggle the toes, take some ankle circles, but soft, slow movements. Just feeling, looking at your feet, observing how they feel. And then pedal your feet. So push one up, one down. Nice and slow. Maybe starting to bend the knees a little. Starting to feel the legs. Imagining you're pushing with the ball of your foot, starting to activate the legs.
You changed the angle of the camera at some point. Because you never used to be able to see me in the mirror. Now you can see me in the mirror. It's very odd.
And then holding on to the left knee. Send the right knee slowly down towards the ground and let it hover. Just starting to activate the leg. So activate the leg, activate the core. If you're feeling this in the lower back, pop the foot up a little higher off the ground. Push the hips down into the ground. Push the rib cage down into the ground. So rather than flattening our low back to the ground, if you push your rib cage, push your hips, you'll find that core activation. So pull the core tight, like you're pulling all your stomach muscles towards the center and then back towards the spine. Hold the leg. And then we're going to take the leg nice and slow out to the right, as slow as you can. Inhale as you move your leg out to the right. Exhale as you bring it back to center. Finding your breath. Finding a little strength in the core, a little strength in the leg. And lower the left leg down, foot down, and take a giant circle with the right leg. So really trying to find the leg active and strong, using the muscles, feeling the muscles of the leg, starting to feel the muscles that make the movement in the hip. Connect with how this happens. Find that mind-body connection. Reverse your circle. Nice and slow. Feeling your hips. You can keep your hands on your hips to try and help keep you grounded, help keep your hips reminding to be still, and let the muscles do the work, not compensating with moving the hip around on the ground. Lower the right leg and take a little shuffle. Let go. Reset. And then bring the knees in towards the chest. Hold on to the right. Let the left slowly go towards the ground to a hover. Again, checking in. We want this to be core involved, not low back. So push the hips down, push the rib cage down, activate the core, and if the back's doing all the work, lift the leg a little higher. So hold and hover. Feel the muscles of the left leg. Start to connect. And then inhale as you slowly bring the left leg out to the side a little. Exhale as you squeeze it back to center. Inhale out.
I was like completely doing the wrong thing.
Exhale in. So nice and strong. And this movement doesn't need to be big. We're trying to connect with the muscles, that mind-body connection. That's what yoga is all about. We're not just throwing our limbs around randomly in space. We're trying to connect with our body, to have that union. Yoga means union, yoke. Find that connection, find those muscles. And then bring it back to center, lower the right foot and take really, 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 really slow and controlled circles with the left leg. Trying to keep the hips grounded. Just finding all the ways that this hip can move, let the leg move, and find all the muscles that make this action happen. And if your leg is too heavy for you to do this, if this is too much, you can bend the leg and just bring the knee around in a circle. Makes the leg a little lighter. And then slowly, slowly, slowly reversing the circle. These circles are way too fun. Slow it down. So yoga is about learning about yourself. So if you find yourself doing faster or flopping the limb, it's because your muscles are weak. They're not able to give you the feedback. So look at yourself, know yourself, make the movement smaller. Make your knee bend a leg, make your knee do a smaller circle. Stop trying to go big first. Build the strength and the muscle connection first in smaller movements. And then build up to bigger, stronger movements. It's better to go small and controlled than to flop around. Way less, you're going to get way less out of it if you're just flopping around. So wiggle lower the foot, wiggle the knees, the hips, loosen, reset. And then bring the feet back about hip distance apart. Take the right ankle, cross it underneath the left. And then just look at the foot. So look at this right foot. Pull the toes back towards the shin. Notice which muscles fire up to make that movement happen. Pull the toes back on the left foot. Notice. Try to keep your hips nice and grounded. Nice and even on the ground. So then bring, with this active leg, bring the toes towards your face and then away. Nice and slow, towards your face and then away. This is on your right foot, towards the face. Find the movement. Connect with what's going on in the lower leg, in the ankle, in the foot. You can lower the left toes and let the left leg be soft, or you can keep the toes up and let the left leg be active. And then bring the foot soft. Take a little reset. Then this time pull the toes towards the shin and start to pull with your muscles the right knee away from you. So pull it away. See if you fire up the glute on the right side. And then option to slowly wiggle the left foot a little bit closer. Maybe you can even bring the left knee in towards you. Grab the thigh. Maybe even straighten up the left leg. Still not pushing with your hand, but pulling with your muscles the right knee away from you. And then slowly unravel. Let the left foot come down, right knee slide over left. Bring the knees in towards the chest. Feet pull towards opposite shoulders. So feet pull, hands can rest. Settle into your breath. You can imagine drawing your breath, that fresh breath, all the way down to the glute area on the right side. Slowly lower the left foot down onto the ground. Take your arms wide and allow your shoulders to really soften into the ground first. And then slowly let the right foot come all the way over to the left, knees to the left. And allow the right foot to land and adjust. So we're looking for an experience from the hip to the armpit. And you may need to prop up this right leg with your hand. You may be able to wiggle it around a little. Watch for any tweaks and twists and turns in the back. We're just looking to open up left side body. Take the tension out of the neck, soften the face. Try to allow that right armpit, right shoulder to be pulling towards the ground, softening into the ground. And then slowly unravel and let the hips come back to center. Maybe you can let your feet meet and your knees go wide. So just adjust and soften, see how that feels. Notice anything that's going on with your lower back. If it's pulling, take the feet a little further away from the glutes. And then both feet back to the ground, knees up, left ankle crosses underneath right knee. Slowly connect with pulling the toes towards the shin on the left foot and then on the right foot. See which muscles make that movement happen. So strong foot, strong lower leg. And then pull the toes on the left foot towards your face and then slowly away. Slow movement finding muscles in the lower leg and in the foot. You can take the tension out of the right. You can just focus on the left. Bonus points if you match the movement to your breath. And then begin to pull the toes back towards the shin and then pull the left knee away from you, firing out muscles in the left hip, maybe even the left glute area. And then maybe you can wiggle this right foot in a little. Maybe even bring the right knee towards the chest and reach for the right thigh. And rather than pushing that left knee away from you with your hand or your arm, just fire up the muscles. Pull it away. Pull, pull, pull. Or maybe you can bring the right leg towards straight. Breathe. Slowly lower the right foot to the ground. Allow the left knee to slide right over the right. And then draw the knees in towards the chest and draw the feet with your muscles to the opposite shoulders. And then hands can rest. And again, think about that sweeping fresh breath, drawing in fresh all the way down to the left glute area, across the left hip, and then sweeping away things no longer needed. Slowly release the knees. Allow the shoulders to soften into the ground first. Watching this left side shoulder, allowing it to really soften and remain planted on the ground. Then let your left foot head towards the right, nice and slow. Let it land. Find the place where you can land, and you're having an experience from the armpit to the hip on the left side. So we're just opening up the left side body, mindful of any tweaks in the back. So wiggle around. Make sure you're not pulling into any part of your back. Have an experience with your own body. So rather than trying to replicate any shape that you see or have seen, trying to have an experience inside your own body right now. Know your hips, know your back, know the places that you hold your tension. Breathe into it. Look for places that you can send fresh energy and release any tension. Let go of that idea of competing with your body. Let go of the idea of particular goals or positions and just breathe. Slowly unravel. Bring the left foot down. Open up the knees and have the soles of the feet together. Wiggle the feet to find that place, whether your feet are closer to the glutes or further away, but your low back is soft and your knees are soft. So find the position where you can feel open across the hips, but no pulling. If it's comfortable for you, make your hands warm. So rub them together and make them warm, and then place them right over the hip bones. Feel the warmth of your hands. And imagine your hands are warm, healing hands. And thinking about drawing in that fresh, energetic breath. Draw it in down to your hands. Have it swirl around and freshen and soften the hips. And then have it sweep away anything no longer needed. And then slowly wiggle your feet back to the ground. Bring the knees back to center, nice and slow. And then squeeze the knees in together. Just a little bit of muscular action. Squeeze the knees in together. Just feel the inside of the legs fire up. Now notice if this pulled your pelvis up and your low back down. So push the hips back down into the ground and then squeeze the legs. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. See if you can find more muscles in the feet and the low legs. And then give the glutes a teeny little squeeze. So now a little bit of lower core action, a little bit of glutes, whole legs. And then just take the knees left to right. A small, teeny, tiny wiggle. So it's going to feel more like one knee wiggles across the other. Little, teeny, tiny movement. Just kind of focusing on this whole grounding space, our lower body. Little, tiny movement. And then let go of the squeeze. Soften. And then we're going to roll on over to a side and come on up to a tabletop position, nice and slow. Come to a tabletop position and we're just going to move and breathe first. Inhaling in tabletop and exhaling towards a child's pose shape. Inhaling forward. And exhaling backwards. Definitely starting to take a little weight on the arms. So one of the ways that we can help reduce stress in the body is to make sure that the body is functioning well and strong and healthy. And healthy, strong joints are important, and the way that we make our joints important is we use them. We load them, we make them strong. Just why we do positions on our hands. Inhale, draw in that fresh breath. Exhale, sweep away what is no longer needed. And then come to a tabletop, and we're just going to work with the arms and hands and shoulders. So turn the fingertips towards each other. So find the way that you can take your hands so your fingertips are facing each other. Just wiggle around and make sure you're comfortable. So facing each other, press into the hands and lift up the chest, hollow out the chest. So you're starting to take some weight, and maybe you can bring the shoulders a little bit further forward. Strengthening the wrists in a different angle. Maybe bend the elbows and take a little more weight into the hands. Make sure you're not holding too much tension in the neck. Maybe strengthen the stomach a little bit to help support the head. And then we're going to take a little side sway left to right with the shoulders. It's a teeny, teeny, teeny controlled movement. And then soften to release the hands. Turn the hands out. Come on back. Start to take weight in this position. And then bend the elbows a little bit. Take a little more weight. And then take a little soft and controlled side sway of the weight left to right. Feeling, having an experience in your arms and shoulders. Take the tension out of the neck. Soften the face. And then bring the left forearm down, place it down. Get really strong in the left forearm. And then lift up, take a little weight in the forearm. Take this tension out of the neck. Slowly switch. Right forearm down, slow and controlled. Press into the hand and then lift up out of the shoulder. Lift the chest, lift the stomach. Pull up out of the ground, starting to feel the right shoulder. And then slowly bring the right hand back to tabletop. Take a little wiggle. Take the hands much wider than your mat. And you're really slowly going to bring the left shoulder towards the ground as you bend the right elbow. Maybe have your head come round to this elbow. And then switch sides. So rolling through the shoulders. Rounding the shoulders. So moving through range of motion in your shoulders. Feeling all the movements your shoulders can make. Start to explore nice and slow and controlled. And then come on back to a tabletop. And come on up to a seated position. Again, grab your pillow, grab anything that helps make you comfortable in your seat. Maybe even come to your chair. There are no prizes for sitting perfectly cross-legged.
I'm just too lazy to get up and get my cushion.
There are no prizes for it, so it's many traditions being used as a way for meditation, mostly because it's a position that you can help stay alert in. But there are no rules. There's nobody going around giving yoga prizes for who can sit in the best yoga position. So find the body position for you. Give yourself permission to take that comfort. Sit nice and tall. Try to evaluate the low back and what it's doing. Maybe start to activate the lower stomach a little more. Take a little more softness in the low back. Get really tall in the spine. So rather than getting straight, so when we say get straight, oftentimes we pulled our shoulders back and we pulled our chin back and we tried to force a straight line in our spine. So let that go and get tall. Imagine somebody took a string, grabbed the crown of your head, and took the weight of your body off your vertebrae. Made you a little longer. Now we're going to do a shoulder exercise. So we're going to take our hands out from our shoulders, palms facing forward. Start to get strong and active in the shoulders. So push the fingertips away, really actively pushing the fingertips away, pulling into the shoulders. So the shoulder is nice and strong and active. Imagine someone really pulls you as long as they can. Watch your back. So lower back muscles are much bigger muscles. They're going to want to do all the work here. Try not to make them do the work. Push your arms. Push, push, push. Really pull out of the shoulders. Find the longest length of your arms that you could possibly be at. Imagine you caught a fish and you're trying to tell people it was as long as your arms and you're trying to make it longer. You're telling a tall tale. So reach, 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 reach. So while holding this, trying not to compensate the neck or the back, really watching, trying to use the shoulder muscles and the muscles of the chest, muscles of the arm. We're going to draw the shoulder blades back together as slow as we can, keeping this engagement in our arms. So it should be a tiny movement and a tiny squeeze. Draw the shoulder blades together and then pull them apart. Draw them together and pull them apart. Finding the muscles of the shoulders. Open and then pull apart. And then lower the arms. Notice the shoulders, give them a wiggle, and then take the hands and flick them away. Really flicking the arms, flicking the fingers, flicking, loosening, softening, jiggling the muscles. And then rolling one shoulder at a time backwards as slow as you can. Nice and slow, feeling your shoulders. How many directions can your shoulders move in? And then switch the direction of your circles. Notice the front of your shoulders. Notice your neck. See how you feel. And then we're going to draw the back of our arms backwards. So you try not to take too much strength into the arms, lower arms and hands. We're going to pull the elbows backwards with the top of our arms. So pull back. Try to be loose in the lower arm. Just the top of the arm working. Watch the lower back is going to want to do all the work. Pull the elbows back. Pull the shoulder blades together. Watch the neck. Watch the breath. Pull the elbows further back and up towards the sky. And then draw the right shoulder up and down. Left shoulder up and down. Trying to keep that active upper arm but soft lower arm. Up and down. So focus, see if you can find soft low arm, strong upper arm, and strong in the shoulders. Watching the low back, telling it not to do any work. One of the tricks to know that your low back is trying to do all the work is your torso might move forward to give you more space for your lower back to really grip and pull. So pull that stomach in towards the spine a little bit. Turn the back off. Just work the shoulders. And then again, flick away. Loosen, soften, flick. Take the hands and shake the hands. Shake them out. Shake the arms. Try to loosen and soften the arms. Really shake the shoulders. Begin to shake the shoulders. And then pick the hands up and let them flop into the lap wherever they're comfortable. Notice your shoulders. Notice your back. Notice your face. Notice your breath. Bring your right hand over to your left shoulder, crossing the body, letting the left hand be wherever it's comfortable. So just feel this position. Feel how your arm and shoulder feel. Really tall in the spine. We're going to take the chin slowly towards the right shoulder. And then lift the chin. Find a little slow controlled movement with the neck. Just feeling the neck and the tension in the neck. And then we're going to take this head in a really slow circle. Trying to just feel all the points of the head and neck. Find where all the tension is in the head and the neck. And reverse your circle when you get back to center. Try not to let the skull just drop backwards, but to feel the muscles that make your head move in a circle. Bring your head back to neutral. Lower the hand, switch sides. Left hand grabs right shoulder. Not grabs, not tight, just rests. And then slowly take the chin over to the right. Lift the chin up a little. Find the neck muscles. And then take a really slow circle with the head. And then reverse your circle. Head back to neutral, cross right hand over to left shoulder. So now your hands are crossed. You have a hold of your shoulders. We're going to do a upper back circle. So you're going to bring a little hollow out to your belly and bring your elbows down towards the knees. So hollow the belly, bring the elbows down. Try to feel behind the shoulders, upper back movement. Really trying to feel the shoulders, and then take a really slow circle with the shoulders. So now we're just trying to feel all the positions. The upper back can move in. Maybe the elbows feel like they're pulling to the ceiling as you come backwards. Slow as you can, feeling your upper back, feeling every single part of movement that you can get out of the upper back, and then back in the other direction. Trying to connect with space and all of the muscles that make these movements. And then back to center. Come on back to neutral. Bringing a little attention to the lower back. So bringing stomach tight, loosening the lower back. And then we're going to take the elbows towards the right knee. So taking a little twist, a little turn. Imagine that you're reaching for your groceries in the car, your handbag in the car, you're reaching for something across the car. How many times do we do this movement? So move over, hold, and then slowly back to center. Take the elbows up and over and towards the left knee, move over and hold. Try to make some of this movement more in the stomach than in the back. And then all the way back. Lift the elbows up. Extend the arms nice and slow. Exhale, bringing the arms down, 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 nice and slow. Little soft circles with the wrists. Lower the hands into the lap. Notice how you feel. Notice your breath. Notice your arms, your shoulders, your upper back. And letting the hands rest in the lap, not bringing tension. We're just going to bring some tension to the solar plexus area. So little soft circles with the rib cage. Squeezing. Imagine you're just wringing out this space. And again, just finding all the movements the spine can make, as if you're making space for this part of your spine. Kind of the lower mid-torso part of your spine. How many angles can it move in nice and slow? Wringing out this space, giving a little squeeze to the muscles around the solar plexus, around the stomach, around the core, and then back in the opposite direction. Imagine you could unwind all the tension in the low back. And then bring it back to neutral. Bring your hands to prayer at heart space. Center. Feel the touch of your fingers. So feel your fingers touching. Maybe bringing your thumbs to touch the center of your chest and feel all these points of contact. Land in these points of contact and really feel them. Stop resting in the thoughts. Stop resting in the feelings. And just focus on these points of contact. Find sensation here. Maybe even soften your eyes closed. Slowly as you can, softly as you can, slide the hands, the prayer, up to your forehead. Touch the center of your forehead. Try to remain in the experience of this point of contact, your fingertips touching and your thumbs touching the center of your forehead. Try to remain here and nowhere else. Notice slide your hands slowly back down to the center of your chest and rest here, only here. Can you feel on your chest the point that is being touched by your hands? Can you feel on your hands the point that is in contact with your chest? Can you bring your focus entirely to this point? Outside of all the thoughts, all the distractions, and right here in your center. And then as slowly as you can, sliding in to your restorative resting position, whatever that is for you today. You can come to your back, you can put your feet on a chair, you can come to your stomach, finding blankets, letting go, whatever that is. Slide in. Make that position yours. Make that decision yours. Where does your body want to be for the final resting pose today? Make a choice. Leave the world of should and should not. Leave the world of someone else's rules. And listen to your own body. Begin to take a body scan as if you're checking in with each and every cell of your body. Noticing how it is, how it feels. Noticing anything new, anything different. Noticing any holding patterns that remain. Just observing without frustration, without judgment. Just learning what is present. Simply scanning and turning on that mind-body connection. Becoming in tune to all the little messages our body is sending us. And then softly and slowly drawing to that point we touched in the center of our forehead. Imagine you could still feel your hands touching the center of your forehead. Try to return to that sensation right there. And then make the point really small. Feel the point where your hands touched your forehead. Feel it as if it were an exact point. Narrow it down to a small sensation. The only thing that you're focusing on. And then slowly imagining you could expand from that point, like you are entirely just a ball of energy right here. And as you soften, you're going to fall backwards from this space, gently expanding like a little ball of energy, expanding softly and opening. And then landing right in the center of your head. Expanding, opening, landing in the center of your head. And then draw that center point down smaller, 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 smaller. See if you can imagine being at the very top of your spinal cord, right in the center of your brain. And from here, look back at that other point. And up there, far away, place all of the thoughts and distractions. As if you are the little pinpoint in the middle of the brain, looking back far away at all the thoughts and distractions. Noticing that you can notice your thoughts. And then perhaps noticing a little space in between the thoughts. If you have more time that you can spend in this pose, please take as much time as your body needs. If you need to finish up at the 60-minute mark today, begin to bring gentle movements to the body, gentle wiggles to the fingers and the toes. And if you're not there already, curl up in a ball in a fetal position on whatever side is calling to you. In the fetal position, bring your hand to touch the ground and just feel the ground. Connect with being back in the room. Connect with the sounds in your space. Soften back into present moment. In this in-between time between coming very, very awake and ready to go and being rested, take a moment to connect back into that heart center, the bliss center. Just being open to whatever you might need to hear. Maybe there's something you need to let go of and leave on the mat. Maybe there's something that you're ready to process. Just opening, tuning in, listening to this space for just a moment. Your body's intuition. And then as softly as you can, return to a seat. Bring your hands to prayer. Meet your left and right sides in front of your heart. This gesture of accepting yourself as whole and complete, precisely as you are. May we all know love, light, and connection. Thank you for joining us.